With the release of the Cuphead-inspired game Enchanted Portals finally coming out, I thought it would be a great idea to get back to the game Cuphead and tell you why it's a masterpiece and how it still holds up after 6 years. Because this is one of my favorite games of all time, and a lot of people agree because this small indie game got its own 3-season Netflix show. So to start things off, let's talk about the game's humble beginnings. The game started off with two brothers who loved old cartoons and run-and-gun style video games like Mega Man, who promised to each other that they will make their own video game as children. And in 2010, they came together with no gaming experience at all, with no idea who or what their game is going to be about or what it's going to look like. And this was our first prototype of Cuphead. I know, it looks like a poorly made Flash game. But after 150 concepts of what the main protagonist was going to be, they finally ended up with Cuphead and his sidekick Mugman. And after 7 years of learning how to create a video game, drawing the art style, creating the music, many house bills not paid, and etc., they finally finished the game. And now I will finally be giving my review on the game after 6 years. The gameplay is super addicting and fun. I replayed this game start to finish 5 times at minimum just because the game is that fun to play. The game is a run-and-gun style game with a lot of different boss fights where you collect coins to unlock different unique weapons and abilities. Every boss fight is unique and fun, and this game is super difficult if you aren't experienced with the game. You're probably going to struggle a little bit. By that I mean you'll want to destroy your console. But when you master the gameplay though, you can have a really fun time with this game. And the gameplay is super replayable because of how many boss fights, weapons, and abilities are in the game, giving the gameplay a lot of variety. The game never gets old or boring. On the scale of 1 to 10, this gameplay loop is an easy 10 out of 10. Now let's talk about the art style. The art style is one of the most impressive and incredible things I've ever seen in a video game. Every single frame in the game was traditionally drawn to look like a 1930s cartoon, meaning everything in the game was drawn on paper. And that is extremely impressive, and the game looks very beautiful and outstanding. The art style is definitely one of the best things about Cuphead for sure. And this game consists of over 45,000 hand-drawn frames. And again, this is only done by 25 people. The art style is an easy 10 out of 10. No, 11 out of 10. Now I will be talking about the story of the game. The story is probably the weakest part of the game, but that doesn't mean it's bad. In fact, it's still quite amazing. The story is that Cuphead and Mugman end up getting too far away from home and end up at the Devil's Casino, and the Devil tells them, "Win one more roll and all the loot in my casino is yours. But if you lose, I'll have your souls. Deal?" Cuphead rolls the dice, blinded by the riches, and ain't too worried about it. But Mugman had the opposite view. They got unlucky, and the Devil said, "Snake Eyes, you lose!" And Cuphead and Mugman are begging for mercy. The Devil kicked them out and said, "I have here a list of my runaway debtors. Collect their souls for me, and I might pardon you 2 mugs." Then their elderly caretaker gives them a potion that gives them supernatural abilities that makes it easier for them to get everyone's souls. The story is very dark for a kid-friendly looking game, and I love it. I give the story of this game an 8 out of 10. Now it's time to talk about the music in this game. The music in this game is amazing. All the tracks fit the levels and boss fights very well, and the music was played live by a band and put into the game, which is pretty cool. Some of my favorite tracks in the game are Floral, which is what you're hearing right now, One Hell of a Time, Baking the Wondertart, and High Noon Hoopla. But my number one favorite track is Baking the Wondertart. But the music is really accurate to something you would hear in old cartoons though, and I give the music a solid 9 out of 10. Now we will conclude my thoughts on this game on a peaceful note. In conclusion, this is one of my favorite games of all time. The total score of this game is a 38 out of 40, which is amazing. Everything about this game is incredible and still holds up after 6 years. This game is one of my favorite indie games, if not one of my favorite video games of all time. And I really wish that the Moe Howard brothers could do more of this, because I think they said that they're not planning to do any more Cuphead. That's about all I want to say. See ya! Also, Enchanted Portals looks garbage.